Hey South Campus Video Tech and Projectionists, I wanted to share with you two things that are changing in the booth. One is something that I'm not going to share too much on, but we're going to start adding some countdowns and timers on the back screen for every single element within the service. It's going to be pretty easy to operate. We're going to test it this week, and I'll let you know some more information as how it went and at a later time. But I want to focus on this other piece, and it's regarding lighting. Most of you know that most of the time we don't have a lighting person, so we're actually getting rid of the lighting position in the booth completely at South Campus. Typically, video tech has triggered that whenever it works easy for them. However, we're going to change that as well. Projectionists, you are actually going to be doing that, and you may be wondering, I'm a projectionist, I'm on this side of the booth, but the light board is over in the middle. How does that work? I'm so glad that you asked. We actually figured out a way to make ProPresenter talk to the light board so that when we have certain slides that have a certain thing on them, it will trigger the lights and the slide at the same time. So we don't need an extra person in the booth to operate that. It's pretty awesome. We did it this past week. It was flawless. It actually was like right on time with everything as well. The cues were just fantastic. So here is a little bit more for projectionists what you need to do when you come on Sundays. There's just one or two extra steps that you may have to do if it's not set up already. Video people, you will no longer have to worry about lights. Although, if we lose connection between the computer and the light board, you're going to be the one to hit the go button if it doesn't work. So here is a little bit how it works. So projectionists, when you get to South Campus onto the projectionist computer, you're going to notice that there's something a little bit different about ProPresenter. At the beginning of the pre-service loop or at the beginning of a song, whatever, you're going to see some different buttons. This blue button, that is essentially what is communicating out of ProPresenter to trigger something, and that for us is the lights. So it's this radio tower blue button. That is what will turn on the lights. But one of the things that you'll notice, if you click it, it should change the lights, but the lights aren't changing because it should be on the pre-service loop. That's because we need to turn on one device, another software. It's called Osculator. It's this little thing here. If you don't see it down in the dock, you can hit the applications folder and it will be in there. So you can hit it that way. You open this up, and then it'll pop up this. You want to also go to File, Open Recent, and you can do Ransom Stock Setup, or you can go straight to Open, and then it'll pop up a window and go to Ransom Stock Setup. Same thing. Hit Open, and then it'll bring up all these different fun things. What this does is essentially it takes this cue that ProPresenter sends out and it translates it into a message and sends it to the light board to tell it what to do. So now I can actually just minimize it. All I needed to do was open that file. If I minimize it and I trigger the first slide again that has the blue button, it will turn on the lights. So it just sent that communication. If I go to Manifesto, I can click it. It'll send the trigger to that first song. It will switch the lights instantly. Let's say we just are getting ready for the sermon, but I need more time. I decide last minute to go to the next song right after. That has happened before. We can go and skip, and it's not actually hitting go. So let's say I'm going to go to a different song completely, like This I Believe. I can trigger the first slide, and instead of just going to the next thing, it actually goes all the way to This I Believe. So it's based on the cue numbers, not on just go to the next. One of the things that I also want to tell you a little bit about is the welcome one things and the wrap-ups. So one of the things that we've got this week, we've got a video during the welcome. Right before Cody comes up, we've got this video going, but we want to make sure that he gets light. However, we don't want to trigger the light at the same time we trigger lower thirds, so I created a separate slide that specifically is the light cue. So I made it so no matter what, As the video is still playing, it will just trigger the light only. The video will continue playing. So when we get to about 3 seconds left on the video, I would trigger this slide to turn on that center light. So let's say I'm fast forwarding a little bit. We got 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I'm triggering it, and there's the light, and the video is done. So perfect timing, and then the video switcher will switch to the camera, and we'll hit the lower third, and then the video switcher will add the lower third. When we get to the end of the sermon, we're going to have like the sermon bumper happen, and we'll need to cue Cody's light. I've got a separate thing for that. One of the things that you want to do is use the words, the last statement that Phil's going to say. Probably use the third, fourth, or fifth to last word to trigger that light early enough that it is up completely once Phil is completely done talking. And that's it. It's pretty easy to follow. The only thing that you may have to work on is just timing certain things, but overall, it is super easy. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'd be glad to help get you used to hitting that. But more or less, it should feel like you're not even doing anything extra. So thank you guys for all that you do. Looking forward to the next things that we do and experiment with.